So today we are going to practice, or we are going to revise verb to be in a simple past. As we have explained before, that a simple past in the affirmative form is I was, you were, he was, she was, it was, we were, you were, they were. What do you remark is that with he, she, in, always there is was. So in here that's affirmative. In the negative, if you want to change the sentence in the negative, you add only not to it, and it becomes I was not, you were not, he was not, she was not, it was not, we were not, you were not, they were not. Okay, now today's session is about practice. Now let's move on and practice this. If you see here, we have three different exercises. We have exercise 1, exercise 2, exercise 3. They're all, you're gonna do them to practice the use of verb to be in the simple past. We have, the first exercise is complete the following sentences with was or were. Sometimes they ask you to fill in the gaps. So these we call them gaps in English. Fill in the gaps with was or were. First sentence, she very happy. They at school. He at home last night. I naughty when I a child. We in London last week. They good friends. It sunny yesterday morning. I at the cinema yesterday. Lucy and Mary good friends. We single last year. So what you're gonna do is you have to complete or fill in with was or were in the gaps. Now, the second exercise is put the following sentences in the negative form, which is I was John's wife. You need to change this sentence into the negative. My grandparents were poor. Susan was a slim girl. My hair was short. We were artists. They were husband and a wife. The third exercise is like in the form of multiple choice exercise, and you have to choose this or this. Choose the correct answer. So we was / were in Italy last year. I was / were at the supermarket yesterday. My cousin was or were very sick last week. You was / were very tired after the party. She was or were late for work. They was or were busy this morning. That day was or were so great. You and Maria was or were very happy. My friends was or were invited to the party. And the last sentence would be it was or were a rainy day. So now let's work on the first exercise. She, if you say here, so you will say she was, okay? So in here, she was. Because he, she, it all the time with was. She was very happy. They, this is plural. And if the subject's in the plural form, then we go for were. They were at school. He, look at this. He And then he, so was. He was at home last night. The pronoun I always goes with was. I was. So I was naughty when I was a child. We, this pronoun comes in the plural form. So we were in London last week. They, again, were good friends. It. So we have he, she, it all the time comes with was. Then it should be it was. So it was. It was sunny yesterday morning. I was at the cinema yesterday. Lucy and Mary. So here, Lucy and Mary, they can be replaced by the pronoun they, because Lucy and Mary, two people, it's plural. The subject is plural in here. They were. So you have to pay attention to this. You all the time, when you are conjugating the verb to be in the past, which is was or were, you pay attention to the subject. If it's singular, then it's was. If it's plural, then were. So we, again, last sentence, we were single last year. Now, let's move on to the second exercise. Put the following sentences in the negative form. So let's all change together this sentence. The first one. I was John's wife. So it should be and then here you should change this into the negative and it becomes I wasn't John's wife. So here, wasn't. Yeah, this is what we call in English short form. So normally long form is like this. Was. How do we form the negative? They say I was, you were, he was, she was, it was, we were, you were, they were. We only add not and it becomes I was not, you were not, he was not, she was not, it was not, we were not, you were not, they were not. So normally that's the long form, okay? It is was not. If I want to turn it into, because this is long form. If I want to change it into short form, it should be wasn't, like this. Apostrophe T, wasn't. So this is the short form. Here, my grandparents were poor, I would say. Now I'm going to use long form here. My grandparents. Look, that is very easy. Were, I add not of the negative. My grandparents were not poor. Very easy. My grandparents were not poor. Susan was a slim girl. I put Susan was not, as this one. This is, yeah, you can use long form as you can also use short form. This is short form and this is long form, okay? Susan was not a slim girl. My hair was short. My hair My hair wasn't short. So here, what is the difference? The difference between was not and wasn't? It's only at the level of pronunciation. This is pronoun was not. Here also the pronunciation is quick, wasn't. We were artists. We were artists. So we weren't artists. They were husband and wife. They weren't husband and wife. Now let's move on to the third exercise. Here is we have a multiple choice exercise. Choose the correct answer. First one, we was or were in Italy last year. Of course, last year, this is the indicator of the past. When we talk about the simple past, most of the time we have, that's what we call past time phrases or indicators. The indicators would help us to know which tense we're gonna conjugate this verb. Now last year, when you have last, it means this is simple past. Now I have to look at the subject, which is we. So I have to put we. So we, it's plural. Now automatically we say we cannot say we was, no, because we were. This is the correct answer. We were in Italy last year. 2. I was or were at the supermarket yesterday. Normally the subject pronoun I all the time comes with was. I was at the supermarket yesterday. My cousin, which pronoun can be replaced with? So it's he. My cousin or he. My cousin automatically was. My cousin was very sick last week. In here you have to pay attention because you all the time comes with were. So you were very tired after the party. Now 5, she was, because the third person singular, she was late for work. They, this is plural form, then it goes with they were, we have to circle were, they were very busy this morning. And on that day, so great. And then you have 2 alternatives, was or were. That day, I have to ask a question, what pronoun can be replaced with is it. So, and if you say it, we have the third person singular, he, she, it. This is all the time comes in the singular. And if you have singular, then automatically we go for was. And if it's plural, we go for were, okay? Now in here, I have to go for that day or it. That day was. It means it was so great. You and Maria, very happy. You were very happy. My friends, they can be replaced with the pronoun they. This one. My friends, it means they. My friends were invited at the party. It, and then very easy, it was a rainy day. So you have to pay attention all the time to the subject pronouns. If they are in a singular form, then you go for was. And if they are in a plural form, then you have to go for were. So now we're gonna move on to the fourth exercise. Well, exercise 4, turn the sentences into the negative. Then we have to practice more how to change affirmative sentences or positive sentences to the negative. We were not. So this is the tool of negative. We were not at the party yesterday. You were at the hospital last week. So this is long form. I'm gonna write it with short form. Okay, you. So short form, it's written like this: weren't, apostrophe T. Okay. So you weren't at the hospital last week. 3. I was angry with you 2 days ago. I was not angry with you 2 days ago. Sentence number 4, she. So this is long form, I'm gonna use short form. She wasn't my neighbor. The 5th sentence, you and Alex were upset. So, you and Alex were not upset. So now we have seen the affirmative and the negative. To recapitulate, the positive, the affirmative, I was, you were, he was, she was, it was, we were, you were, they were. Negative, I use not, and it becomes I was not, you were not, he was not, she was not, it was not, you were not, they were not. Okay? Now, let's move on to the interrogative. So the interrogative form, interrogative. What happens is that, look at this sentence, look at this example. You were. He was. So we have the affirmative and the negative, always we start with the subject, then the verb. This is verb to be, okay? In the interrogative form, we have to inverse the subject. Normally, interrogative sentences starts with the verb, becomes, let's change this into interrogative. I would say, W, it should be capital. Were you? And then you don't have to forget to put the question mark, okay? Were you at school yesterday? Were you at home yesterday? Were you on the beach yesterday? Etc. Now, he was. It becomes was. This is the verb. And then after the verb, there is the subject. Was he? Okay? Was he, for example, at home yesterday? For example. Just an example. And then I have to put the question mark. This is called in English, hold on. So this in English, we call it question mark, which we need in the interrogative sentences, okay? Now, let us practice. Now, exercise 5, we need to practice the interrogative form. Circle the right answer. Here, was or were, and they're all questions. How do we know? How do you know the interrogative? With the question mark. You see, all these sentences have what? Question marks. This means that they are in the interrogative form. Were or was you in the garden with my parents? So in here, automatically, because I have to use this subject, which is you, normally it's were. Were you in the garden with my parents? Were you in the garden with my parents? The answer should be yes, I was, or no, I was not. It depends. If the answer is positive, you say yes, I was. If it's negative, no, I wasn't. So we have two answers that we can provide here. Two answers. Positive, yes, I was. This we call them short answers. Les réponses courtes, short answers. No, comma, no, I wasn't. Or was not, okay? Second question. Were or was he at school Monday afternoon? Now, I have to go to the subject, and I'm gonna use what? Was he? Was he at school? Was he at school Monday afternoon? Was he at school Monday afternoon? Need to provide two answers. If it's positive, I'm gonna use yes, he was, or no, he wasn't. Okay? 3. Why were or was they at the supermarket yesterday? Why? And then you have to underline the subject. I know that they goes with were, and why were they? Because we inverse the subject here. Why were they at the supermarket yesterday? And then here, was or were you at home last night? Is because here we have subject you, and it goes with were. It becomes, were you at home last night? Yes, I was. No, I wasn't. The last question would be, was, let's say she, for example, was she hungry or were she hungry? So here, subject she, he, she, it with was. Now I'm going to circle was she hungry? The answer, we have two answers, yes, positive, yes, she was, or no, she wasn't.